Okay.
Good.
Hello, everyone. Well, I'd like to welcome you and my guest, Jared Mumford, to my Zoom room.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure for sure. For sure. I want to just tell the audience some of the things that you do. Okay, so
Sure.
Listen, people. He is a father, a partner, a musician, an athlete, a volunteer, and the list does go on. Vice president at the downtown Chilliwack Community Market, vice chair at the Chilliwack Restorative Justice and Youth Advocacy
yeah.
Association, chairman of the board at School District number 33 in Chilliwack, co-chair at Chilliwack Healthier Community, owner and CEO Visions Inc., director of search marketing at All Inclusive Marketing. And because he has nothing better to do, he's decided to run in the next municipal election.
I think I'm going to shorten that on my Facebook because it eats up so much of my interview time.
So what are you thinking? When are you going to be doing all of this stuff?
I'm already doing it every day. Yeah,
Every day, but now you're at it, the running for the
for council, city council. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I do win a seat on council, I will leave. I will be leaving the school board. I'll be leaving anyways. So
you're leaving either way.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of a switch from school board to city council.
Okay.
So the workload won't increase too much.
Oh, okay. So what made you decide to run for council?
Well, I've said this before, but it's just over the last 4 years, being on the board of education and getting a lot of opportunities, also those other volunteer positions I have, it's just my interest has expanded. And if I'm not passionate, I have to keep moving forward. So my new passion has moved into food security and green space and all these other areas that aren't necessarily covered by the school board. So I still, like I said before, I still have a passion for youth. But healthy communities raise healthy youth, right? So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. What is that? What did you say? Something about the food? What was it? Say
food security.
Food security.
Right.
I think somebody mentioned that to me before, but I forget what it is.
Well, people facing food insecurity are people who are having difficulty getting healthy foods.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I started the downtown market with a group of amazing individuals, as you know. Yeah.
Yes.
And I worked on the Chilliwack Food Council to create the Chilliwack Community Food Hub, that big building behind Salvation Army now that's a hub for all of the different food security organizations, and some other work on the way that I won't mention yet, but yeah, it's one of my passions.
All right, there's a lot of good things happening here, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great time to live in Chilliwack.
Yeah, I mean, I moved here in 1995, and I just have to say it's so different from when I first came here.
Right. So, yeah, I grew up here. I was born here. I won't say what year, but I did move away a little bit. And when I came back from Vancouver after 5 or 6 years starting my business, it was pretty dismal when I came back. That was like 2006 era. Right. Yeah, and it's tumbleweeds going through the streets downtown and stuff, right? But now it is significantly changes. It's getting better every year.
Absolutely, and I would think it's within the last few years that the biggest change has come, right?
Yeah, the biggest visible change. I think what we need to remember is that the seeds for this change starts way back down the line, right? And then these are the fruits of the labor. But as long as we're still planting seeds now and doing the work now, then it'll just continue to get better.
Right. That's cool. I want to ask you, because I didn't know what that was, SEO, owner SEO Visions.
SEO Visions, it's a marketing consultancy.
Oh.
So yeah, most people haven't heard of me because I don't do any work locally. All of my work is national or international. So I technical marketing and consulting for large organizations.
Oh, okay. So that works out well.
That's what pays the bills.
All right. That's always nice, especially when you volunteer. Yeah. So now I know a couple of people at the Restorative Justice, Dave Sablowski. I've known him for quite a while. We met originally at Toastmasters. And my sister volunteers there. I don't know if you know her, Kitty Dunn. Well, you would know her if you met her.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway, so you're going to continue with the downtown Chilliwack Community Market, right?
Yes, that will continue on. We're still on right now for a couple more weeks. I don't know when this airs, but we're on till the middle of September.
Okay.
And then we'll start planning for next year.
Very good. Yes. And what else was there? Oh, okay. Co-chair at Chilliwack Healthier Community. So that's talking about the same thing about the healthy foods and all of that.
Well, Chilliwack Healthier Community is an organization of 60 member groups, and it's basically, it spans the spectrum of social issues. So we're talking affordable housing, poverty reduction, mental health, and the list goes on and on and on, inclusion and so forth. So yeah, I co-chair that with the mayor. And I'm also on the operational strategy working group, which is basically the working group behind the scenes that crafts the strategic plan for the next 3 years. What are we going to focus on? Obviously, affordable housing, experiencing homelessness, those kinds of things are at the forefront.
Right.
Transportation barriers. That's a big thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a number of social issues, and we have so much input from so many organizations across the city. It's really an amazing organization, and it's a little bit of a beacon for other municipalities. I know other municipalities like Abbotsford and moving west and even north have been trying to model what we've done with CHC. And it's not my work; somebody else created it, but I'm happy to be co-chair.
Right. I'm really like the affordable housing thing really gets to me. It really, really does. Like I fall through the cracks, for some reason, right? I got more income than a lot of lower income people, so I don't fit into there. But I couldn't move, say, from here. I certainly couldn't upgrade,
Right.
because I can't afford it. And prices, rents, or the cost of homes is so ridiculously high. I don't know how anybody affords things nowadays, I really don't.
I don't either. It's and we look at our kids and we say, well, how? I mean, we can only save so much. And for me, I'm lucky enough to own a home, but in COVID, it just basically destroyed my business, and I had to take a second mortgage. And if I wasn't working to get things to where they are now with my business, I wouldn't be able to keep my home either. And where would I go? I can't afford anything at these prices. So it's a real crisis. And hopefully, I think there was a step today by the government about capping rental increases at 2% or something. So things are coming down the pipe, but maybe not fast enough.
Right. And one of the things, I forget who I had on the show, but we were talking about those tiny homes.
Yep.
And again, they want them for low income people. But I'm thinking, why just them? I would move into one of those in a minute. Like I own my condo. Okay, no problem. I own a condo. But if I could buy one of those tiny homes, like why can't I?
You're right. The crisis is at that level where people can't afford and they have those barriers.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's encroaching up to homeowners and condo owners and seniors who aren't making enough income, and they're barely making their rent. Or their mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real crisis. Absolutely. We have to work multi governments have to all work together. We've seen that here.
Yeah.
We've seen our municipal our municipal government working with BC Housing and getting some of these projects up. And
I mean, I do understand that the people that are on the streets, or what I call the working poor.
Yeah.
They're really struggling as well, right? It's like they're probably one paycheck away from being homeless. A lot of people.
So we're middle class at this point.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't understand what happened, and I really don't understand.
Yeah,
because it was rapid.
Complicated.
It seemed to be so like all of a sudden,
well, with the housing market exploding like it did, and then we cap on just the cost of living significantly increasing over the last couple of years. We look at fuel prices and the barriers to transportation there. Buying a used vehicle. If you take a look online after this interview, you will be shocked.
Yeah,
what a 1996 little Honda will go for these days. I mean, it's just and people are living paycheck to paycheck and digging into their savings and going into debt. So it's a real crisis right now.
One of the things I was recently in New Brunswick visiting some of my family, because that's where I'm from originally, and they were talking about how people with money selling their places in Toronto and Montreal and moving to the places like Hamilton, New Brunswick, which is like a population of like 10,000, right? Mm-hmm. Making the cost of housing there go up.
Yeah. Right? It's funny you mentioned that, because we have family in New Brunswick too, in St. John, and we were just there a year and a half ago, I think, or maybe a little more. It's all foggy with COVID, but we were there visiting, and we were kind of looking at places and thinking, it'd be nice to have a place on that side, and maybe we could rent it to family while we're not there. And so we signed up for a real estate site there, and I get updates and I can see it. Going up, and that's what they said there is people moving from Toronto. Yeah, and here it's people moving from Surrey and Vancouver and Langley.
I mean, they can't blame anybody.
Absolutely not.
Right? No. If you want to, everybody wants to have a nice income come in, or like extra money or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Nobody's at fault for that, right? Yeah. But like you said, the cut, I don't know. We're kind of off the topic of why I want.
That's okay. Why
you're here.
No, good chat.
It's just interesting things. Anyway, let's get back to on council now. Being on council, so. As a council, just like a council member, how many people are on council at any given?
There's six council and one mayor.
Okay, so I know the mayor is going to be running again.
Yes, I saw that, yes.
Yeah, and I know it's like like any kind of council, like it's a collaborative effort and you
Mhm.
vote on decisions or talk about decision or issues with that's best for
Yeah.
everybody,
You
right?
vote on decisions, yeah, recommendations from staff, yeah.
So what you will be bringing to that, what do you think?
Well, experience is one thing I'll be bringing
Mhm.
to the table. So I started volunteering long before I was in governance, but now I've been in governance for about 6 years, and I obviously elected to the school board for 4 years.
Right,
So I have good governance experience. I understand what governance is, and more importantly, what it isn't.
okay,
And I also bring the experience. I mean, I'm volunteering all over the city. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I have a lot of connections and networking, and I know a lot of the people that are trying to do good things, and I know what their barriers are. So the combined experience with governance and the combined experience in the community, I think just makes me an asset in that seat.
yeah, very good. Now you're saying you know what governance is and you know what it's not, so give us a little
Well,
explanation.
governance is providing a vision for how you want the city to grow and what you want the city to become, and creating a strategy on how to do that through bylaws and policies. It is not, grandstanding and politicizing at the table.
Yeah.
It is not, you have to be respectful of your council and understand that when a decision is made at council, then that's the decision of council, and
Right.
and you have to not only should you not criticize it. I mean, constructive criticism is okay, but if that's the direction moving forward, you need to be on board to even help move in that direction, because you are part of a council that once the decision is made, that's the decision.
It's a majority
It's a
rule.
majority rules, and that's the decision, and that's the decision. If your efforts are now into hindering that from progressing, then you're counterproductive, and that's not good governance.
Right.
Yeah.
I must say that I used to volunteer at the community, at the Chilliwack Community Center. And
Good for you.
well, I don't anymore, but that's another story. But anyway, during COVID, there were times when the city hall met there because of the space, and so I would volunteer to be on those times because I was interested to see what takes place during a regular
meetings,
council
yeah.
meeting, and it was quite interesting talking about like if somebody a builder has applied for
Permits and whatnot.
yeah,
variances.
what they're allowed to, yes.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I would encourage anybody to go to those meetings because it is very informative.
Mhm.
People I talk about, like when they don't know, when they never go or they never see what it's about,
Yeah.
they really don't know what goes on behind the scenes, sort of.
You're right.
Right?
And to add on to that, I mean, I've gone to more than a few meetings and I understand what happens there, but even then, when I get a seat, I mean, it's going to be a huge learning curve. I mean,
Of course.
I'm not kidding myself. I know that there's going to be a ton to learn, and there's a lot that I don't know, but I'm excited to kind of see what that is.
Yeah, right. I'm just curious about your time, like you don't want to shortchange anybody,
Right.
right? Like especially
Oh,
your
absolutely not.
personal life that's more important, I would think.
It
you
is
know?
the most important, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to shortchange anybody there, but you have that desire to be there, out there volunteering or doing all those things, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I could just stay home and work my job, which I make my own hours because I own the company. So I could just work my own job and then spend the rest of my time with my family. And believe me, I've considered it multiple times. And volunteering is obviously a pay cut, and going on to the council's pay cut. But I enjoy the service I have for years, and maybe I'll get tired of it one day, but I'm not tired of it yet. So when you talk about spreading myself thin, I mean, when I join council, if the work is more laborious than I anticipate, then I probably will lose one of those other items.
Right.
Restorative justice, I want to work with the provincial government and look at a community court, right? So that's something I'm passionate about. So I don't really want to let that go.
Yeah.
Little Mountain Preservation Project, I really think that we can create something amazing on the face of Little Mountain and create that park. So I don't want to leave that. So it's gonna be hard to decide what I leave. It might even be the market. I mean, because the market is running itself, and the other board members on that market are more than capable of running it without me. So who knows? We'll wait and see. But I certainly don't sacrifice time with my family. That's the most important.
Cool. Now, did we talk it? I'm not sure. Did we talk about your vision for Chilliwack moving forward?
Well, I mean, I want to. So people have a platform, I guess, right? I vote more based on character, but people have a platform, and a lot of times it's something that they want to do once they get into the seat. Here's what I want to do. Here's my vision. But honestly, for me, I'm already doing the work. So for things like green cover in pedestrian walkways, right? Having green cover. So we know it's been getting super hot over the last couple summers, and when seniors need to walk to essential services, the more trees we have, the more places they can walk on their own, the less we have to come and check on them and send them to cooling centers. It cools down the core infrastructure of the urban core anyway, so it's helpful that way. And all the way to the Little Mountain Project, where we're trying to save that face of the mountain. So that's just work that I'm going to continue to go. So yes, I'll be publishing a platform, and yes, that will be part of it, but I'm already doing the work. Food security, same thing, right? Food insecurity, creating food distribution, food distribution systems that work better for everybody and are more affordable and can get more healthy local food into local bodies.
Right.
And that's expanded kind of into my interest in the importance of protecting farms, local farms. I never really cared much about farms, 4 years ago before I got into food insecurity. Now they're
vital.
They're vital, yeah. So protecting the farms, protecting the ALR, and that's where kind of offshoots. So that'll be probably one of my platforms that I publish. And transportation, we talked about that. There's a few others that I'll reveal after all the names are in on Friday.
Yeah, for sure. So remind everybody when the election is.
The election is October 15th. Yeah.
Okay. And you can, I've already done this. You can apply online or call City Hall to get a mail-in ballot.
That's right.
Which I've done because I don't drive anymore. So a lot of us don't drive. So it's not easy to get out there and vote. And it's important to vote.
It's so important. It's vital. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I hear these people say, "Oh, why bother? Nothing changes." But that's not true.
No, it's not true. And the more people that vote, the more we get a reflection of the community on council. That's the bottom line. For better or for worse, the more people that vote, the better the reflection of our community on council that are making decisions. So what's more reason than that to go and vote?
Very good. Yeah. So everybody, you've been listening to Jared Mumford, and we have shared with you all of the things he does, and just a reminder, really, truly get out there and vote. And again, you don't have to go out physically. Not anymore, I don't even have to go out of my building to mail a letter because we have this box downstairs that we can, parcels are delivered right there, and and there's a mailbox there. So
perfect.
Like seniors, I'm getting lazy. OMG, I am getting lazy. But anyway, yeah, take care. Just remind me, get out there and vote. It is important, and consider it your duty, because that's what it is. It's as citizens, we have a duty. We have no right to complain if we don't use our vote. So
absolutely, there
you go. So everybody, be nice and try to laugh. Right? You gotta laugh. We did some laugh. We laughed before the interview, so yes, sorry about that. You didn't get to share about that. And peace out, everyone.
Thank you.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.